you're live. And welcome to the show. Hello, Bridgetti.
Hello, everyone. How are you today? And welcome to the show.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you for joining us as we wind down for the weekend. And we've got a few topics on the show today, which Bridgetti's brought. So we'll be working our way through those. And we also have several bots working today. So if you say hello, you'll get information about the green screen that Bridgetti and I are using. And you can then go out and practice this weekend and arrive on Monday morning fresh with a green screen. I'm not sure though. Well, let's just take it. So this is Bridgetti and Steven in conversation. And if you're watching the replay, thank you. And in this show, we'll be covering several different topics. So hang around for RTMP, how long should a show be, Chrome and streaming, video intros and outros, Facebook and clickbait, which is our topic at the moment. And then, of course, United World Radio. So let's take all those off the screen and say hello to everybody who's watching us. This is Bridgetti and Steven in conversation. It's Friday, it's weekend. Right, shall we make a start on the topics we've got? Because it's going to change on Facebook, isn't it, on May 1st?
Yes, it is. So the very first thing, and I've seen posts all over the place about this, people freaking out just a little bit about the notification that they've got, because Facebook seems to be very good on the engagement these days. They seem to be sending out emails when they make changes. And one of the recent announcements that they've made, they've sent out emails to people, is that they will be switching from RMTP to RMTPS. And because people don't know what it is, and I guess we all like that, when we hear a terminology we're not familiar with, we kind of freak out just a little bit, and especially in view of the fact that Facebook's been making so many changes lately, you could kind of feel overwhelmed. Okay, what is this now? What do I have to do next? Really, it is nothing to freak out about because it's nothing that you can physically do. It's simply a change in the technology. So if you on the internet, you will know that when you type in a URL, you usually go http ://www.yourwebsitename.com, right? And so there was a new protocol that changed from HTTP to HTTPS, which is a security layer. So in the beginning, there was also a lot of freaking out about this. What is this new HTTPS thing that's being enforced? And we quickly got used to the fact that the HTTPS, the S at the end, is simply a security layer, and now we embrace it. And so the RTMP requirement to have the S at the end is pretty much exactly the same thing. It's simply a security layer that the software house has got to add. So it's nothing that you can physically do, but the software providers are going to add that security layer because it's a requirement from Facebook. And that's really all it is. So it's nothing to freak out about, nothing to be scared about or worried about. It's very easily implemented, and it's for your own good. It's a security layer so that we can have less hacking and make our streams more secure. So embrace the new S at the RTMP behind it. And that's all it is. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that, Stephen.
Right. It does change on May 1st. And if you are using our MTP, Remote Transfer Protocol, then you would have to have a secure version. If, like us, you're using BeLive.tv, BeLive.tv doesn't use it, and BeLive and other systems actually use the Facebook API in order to have the benefits of that. So no change as far as BeLive is concerned. If you're using Restream apps like Restream.io or Caster.io, then I'm sure that they will be on the ball and be ready for May 1st. It's one of those things where we are being protected. It is a good thing, as Bridgetti said, and hopefully, fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed, everything will be all right on the day. But we hid that these sorts of things are hidden from us because we don't need to know anything about them, because the software that we use takes care of it.
Makes it work.
It makes it work, and that will be the case now. I mean, there's a difference. If you use the remote transfer protocol, then you can broadcast to virtually any site, including Facebook and YouTube and Vimeo and any site that you like. So it does give you a great range. But what you're not doing is making use of the programming interface, the API, application programming interface, for that particular platform, which means you may miss out. And I know that BeLive use the API to actually integrate the comments that we can actually show on screen. And that's all done through the Facebook API. So don't panic. Leave that to the software houses. And if they're charging you money, they will most certainly be ready on time. There will be the odd site that isn't, but if they're sort of well known, then the odds are that it'll be taken care of automatically. Yeah.
So nothing to be scared about, nothing to worry about. It's not really something that nothing that you personally as a live streamer would need to change. Just ensure that your provider has made the change.
That's true. Today, we are broadcasting on the live video hub, and if you're on the BeLive in 5 page, just say hello, and you will be sent a message which will tell you where we are. So just say hello wherever you are. If you're watching in Canada, hello to everyone in Sarnia in Ontario on David's TVSN page. Again, you'll find a link up above, and you click that link and you come straight to where Bridgetti and I are broadcasting from. This is the beauty of cross-posting. Our one wish, and now that we've got cross-posting back, our one wish is that we could see comments that are made everywhere, but we can only see the comments made on the live video hub page as it stands at the moment. But it's been the first birthday of live cross-posting on Facebook. So hopefully there will be a birthday edition coming out where they do, in fact, allow us to see all the comments wherever they're made, which would be good. Would be good. On to our next question, Bridgetti. How long should your live stream be?
Yes, this seems to be a niggling question for most people, and I'm not quite sure why. So here, in my opinion, is what you need to do is if you are new to live streaming, and I guess this question would come from people that are new to live streaming. If you're new to live streaming and you're not used to being live, do what you are comfortable with in the beginning. And it depends on what your topic is and how engaging it is. Now, for your video to have reach on Facebook, Facebook's very explicit about it. It needs to be at least 3 minutes long. So especially if you're starting out with live streaming, if you're an accomplished live streamer, 3 minutes is absolutely nothing. It passes by so quickly. But when you are new to live streaming, 3 minutes is going to feel like forever. And that's okay. So as long as your video is at least 3 minutes long, you will get the reach on Facebook. And what you need to do from there is build up. And it depends. Hi, Gospel. Hello, Corinda. Just saying hello to everyone. So build up your show. What you don't want to do when you consider how long your live stream is going to be is try and stretch it out just to fill 10 minutes, or stretch it out to fill 15 minutes, or stretch it out to fill 30 minutes or an hour. You don't want to fill it up simply for the sake of time. But if you can provide engaging content, if you can provide content that informs, that educates, that amuses, anything that keeps people glued to your show for an amount of time, that time is going to be right for your show. There's no one size fits all. So consider your topic, consider your audience, consider how engaging you can be for that length of time. That is how you're going to gauge how long your show is. There's no magic formula. There's no magic rule. Previously, for example, if you're running a conference, your conference could be an all-day conference. Now, previously, the limitation was 4 hours. You could go only for 4 hours. Now, you and I might think, oh my goodness, 4 hours? I could never. I can barely manage an hour, never mind 4 hours. Well, I tell you what, if you're doing a conference or something, or you're doing a streamathon where you are raising funds or awareness, promise you 4 hours can go really, really quickly. Or if you're doing a conference. And Facebook's actually now allowing you to do up to 8 hours, which is magic if you are doing a conference or an event coverage. So you don't have to split it up into segments. So allow your content and your engagement to guide the length of time. Stephen, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
Yeah, I think it is a question of experimentation, and we know that sort of you have to go for at least 3 minutes, otherwise Facebook doesn't see you. You're better off going for 15. Most of the shows that we are involved in are either 30 minutes or an hour, and that's because we've got so much to say, or we take a long time to say it, whichever way you want to go. So there is no rule. There are no rules. You can go live for as short or as long as you wish, bearing in mind those structures placed by Facebook. And Corinda is saying that he goes, and Corinda is saying he uses that as well. Right. Okay. Now, time for a little diversion before we carry on with the questions. Fons Chamberlain and I have released, as Gospel knows, United World Radio. And United World Radio is a 24/7 radio station based on the web, and it plays podcasts from Gospel. And at the moment, 9 other people it's fixed into, well, everybody gets a slot. So everybody gets an hour slot, and if they fill the hour, that's good. If you don't fill the hour, then we play music. So what you can do is you can take your live broadcast recordings and you can create an MP3, or you can take your live broadcast recordings and put them on YouTube. Either of those is acceptable. Either way, we get the audio file, which we can then load up to the radio station, and Fons will then schedule it to play and we'll tell you when it's going to go out. And in addition to that, we have a podcast page where your last show is actually displayed and can be heard. So at the moment, you could go to that page and you can listen to 10 different shows. So it's a good way to while away either 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 10 hours by actually listening to the podcasts that are on there. And they're all taken from, at the moment, from BeLive.tv shows on Facebook. And it's so easy and straightforward to do. We invite you to join us. If you want more information, then just contact me, either when watching the recording or whilst we're live now, and I'll get back to you after the show and tell you exactly how you can do it. And this is a hint for everybody who broadcasts live to actually join us on United World Radio. It's totally free, and at the moment we are accepting new presenters, because that's the thing. When we're on Facebook and we're live like we are now, we're broadcasters. But as soon as we go across the radio, we magically become presenters. And it works. What we found is that because we're doing talk shows, they translate so well to radio, because we know that we don't want any white space in the show. We don't want to stop talking. So this talking is continuous. And I want to give a shout out to Ros Boundy and everybody in Australia who has joined in. There's been a big uptake from our Australian friends. Thank you. That's it.
I just discovered something very useful. I think it was yesterday. On the Mac system, I've got QuickTime Player. And so when I play my video using QuickTime, I can export that file as a audio file only. So that was a nice find. It was an unexpected find. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize it was there. And I thought, wow, this is wonderful. So all I need to do is pull up my my video file, play it in QuickTime, and then export it as well, I don't have to play it. I have to open it up in QuickTime, and then I have the ability to export the audio file. And I thought, wow, that's nice and easy.
It is. It is. It's very straightforward once you've downloaded the video file to actually take the audio file out of it. And you want to then you've got to play it back and make sure the quality is good. But 9 times out of 10 it will be. The other way, the easiest way for us is if anybody actually repurposes already to YouTube, then all we need is a YouTube URL, and we can then extract the soundtrack, no problem at all, in seconds. And Gospel's just saying, because Gospel is on United World Radio, I need to send you an updated image and description. Yes, please. And I'll send an audio promotion. Brilliant. Thank you, Gospel.
I must tell you, I'm in broadcast heaven at the moment.
Okay.
I have gone and got myself I've always had 2 screens because I find it practical. I've always found it practical to have 2 screens when you're streaming, so that you have one screen where you can keep an eye on whatever it is you need to keep an eye on, or your notes or whatever, and then the other stream you can have so that you can have your production studio and only have that on the screen. It just simply makes it easier, especially when when you're doing editing and preparation and stuff. I've always liked having 2 screens. So I've gone and invested in a huge, big screen, like a massive screen. And now I only need the one screen. I've still got my computer open, but I'm finding I'm not even looking at my computer screen anymore because I've got this huge monitor now, and I can have other windows open, and I'm also finding it easier. I used to struggle quite a bit, I must say, as a guest on the show, trying to see the comments at the bottom because it's right at the bottom, and it kind of falls off your screen a little bit if you are a guest. And as a guest, I like to, I think more so, I think if I'm a guest on someone else's show, it really wouldn't be so much of an issue. But when you're co-hosting, you do want to be able to read the comments so that you can engage as a co-host.
Yeah.
And so I just love the ability that the comments are more visible to me now because I've got a bigger screen.
Whereabouts is your camera? Just out of curiosity. Because if you're looking directly at it, I know. So where is it?
My camera is directly in my eyesight, in my line of sight, directly.
Okay.
And I'm looking directly at my camera now. So my camera is just above, it's literally above my, where my head is. Mm-hmm. It's angled at that same. So that I am not looking, I'm gonna get up a bit so you can see the difference. So if I get up, I'm now looking down at my camera.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And I'm now sitting to the side of the camera. Mm-hmm. And if I'm down a bit, you can see the difference. So the trick is to really just get it at, just above your head, and so that when you're looking straight at the camera.
Unless a comment comes in from Kelly and you've got to look down to the right, and I'll find Kelly's comment. Kelly's saying, I have to have a listen to it again, been a few days away from the radio station. Yeah, we've updated it, Kelly, and I think Fonz is doing a big change this weekend as well. Now, I've gone high tech this week as well, because I've ditched my headphones, my earbuds.
I noticed.
I've gone wireless. So
how do you find
it? Move about. It's a great improvement because, first of all, I've only got one cable now, which is a microphone cable, so the cables can't fight each other. Then the other thing is that I can, if I'm producing a show, and this is where it comes in handy, if I'm producing a show, I can listen to it wherever I am, so that I can actually, not saying I can pop out for 5 minutes, make a cup of coffee, and come back,
and not have
while
to
still
worry about all
listening.
the wires, and you can hear
Yeah,
while you're gone.
exactly so. So it is very handy. And my background, okay, thank you, Gospel. My background is a photograph that I took last weekend when we had a sunny day down in Wiltshire, and it's the Courts Garden in Devizes, which is a National Trust property, and it's a great place to walk around several times a year, in spring, in summer, and in winter, because the plant growth is different every time that you go. And if I say that there's a nice little restaurant round the corner, that's also a benefit. And it's about 15-20 minutes from where we live. So it's great to actually
Beautiful,
just escape.
gorgeous. And you've also captured the light very nicely, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm not, I wouldn't sort of label myself as a photographer, but I do have the ability occasionally, and this is an occasionally, this is one of 30 shots. I wouldn't share the other 29, but this this shot is framed, is beautifully framed, and that's why it's on my profile as well, because if you take a good photograph, then it goes on the Facebook profile page,
It's
and also
gorgeous.
today as a background. And the other thing I did before coming on was, because I got a different background from normal, I actually recalibrated and made sure that everything was working properly. And now my earphone has dropped out. So we'll go on to the next point as we introduce, okay, the third point, Donati MP, and the third point is Chrome and streaming using BeLive.tv.
Stephen, if I can just backtrack before we get on to the next point there, Kelly was asking whether my camera is on a tripod. Kelly, it previously was on a tripod, and I had it at the exact same height. I now have this massive monitor, and the height of the monitor is exactly the same as my tripod was previously. So right now it's sitting on top of my monitor. But when I didn't have it, yes, I did use a tripod. So I know that most people, will tend to put their camera on top of their monitor. But my advice is, if your monitor isn't the right height to give you the correct look on camera, then use a tripod. And it doesn't have to be a huge, massive tripod. I had I've got a stand here, for example, that I put my phone on sometimes. You can see that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a massive tripod, and if you need height, you can always stack it on top of some books or something. So use some kind of a tripod if your monitor isn't at the right height or the right distance, for example. That's the other thing you need to consider, is being able to have it at a good distance, not right up front, because all you will see then is just face. You want to see a little bit more than just the person's face fill the screen. And so also, if you're having a guest on the show, it's something that guests are not aware of, that you can, and that's why you need that extra bit of time with your guest before you go live, is so that you can guide them so they can also get the best look with their camera. And sometimes it's a simple thing like, not all guests will have an external camera, but you can get extremely creative just using their built-in camera on their computer screen. For example, and I know it's a lot easier if they've got a laptop. And the best way to get a great look on a laptop is to ask them to stack their laptop onto a couple of books until the camera is just sort of the height of their head, so that they can, look at the camera. And then the other trick is, sorry, I'm diverting completely into this topic now. The other trick is to ask them to put their the screen of their laptop up straight. And that's the same thing you want to do with your camera as well, is have it up straight, you know, depending on how far you are. If it's obviously, if it's very far from you and you want to, you know, then you can tilt it down slightly. But generally speaking, you want to have it up straight. So get them to angle the screen of their laptop dead straight. That way you're not going to get that up the nose view, you know, which is terrible, or you're not going to get the view of where you're seeing a whole bunch of ceiling above them, you know, just a weird camera angle. So that's a nice trick. Just keep it up straight, and you'll get a good view. So on to Chrome and BeLive. We seem to get this question over and over in the BeLivers community, and I understand why people ask the question over and over, because we have a constant stream of new people joining BeLive, and currently we're over 9,500 members in the BeLivers group. So yes, of course, people are going to constantly ask that question. So we get different kinds of streaming software. So BeLive is a browser-based software, and there's lots of other browser-based softwares, and they have the same thing. They run on the browser, and the browser is Chrome. It's not going to run on Safari. It's not going to run on Firefox. It's not going to run on any other browser. You may be able to open it, and believe me, I've tried just so that I know what people will see. It will open up on the browser, but it will not allow you to be visible. You won't be able to stream from another browser. And so what BeLive will do is you'll see a little message saying, please open this link on the Chrome browser. Now, if you are a streamer yourself, if you are hosting a show on BeLive, you can only start that show from the Chrome browser. There's no other way to initiate it. You cannot initiate a BeLive hosted show from your phone, whether it's iOS or Android. You simply cannot do that. It's a browser-based software that works with Facebook's API, as Steven said earlier. But what we can do is that people who join your show, they can join the show either on Android or on iOS, or they can join your show on their computer using the Chrome browser. Now, this question came up again the other day in the BeLivers group. Someone was posting and said that their guest was able to join the show, the guest was able to chat to them, but they couldn't see the person in the browser. So I've had that situation as well, and what it turned out to be was that the person did not have the latest version of the Chrome browser. And when they went, and I said to them, go and check your, see if there's an update. They updated, and the moment they updated their Chrome browser, they were able to join the broadcast. I could see them, they could see me. So that's the story with using the Chrome browser. So again, to recap, you can only stream using BeLive in the Chrome browser. People can join the show on the Chrome browser, Android or on iOS. You cannot start the show from a mobile phone. Steven, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that. I can't hear you, Steven. Somehow I've lost sound.
Oh, you haven't. That was my problem. Right, okay. I muted myself. Yeah. These things happen. This is live. Right, just a moment, just to catch up with 2 comments from Kelly. It says, I have the BeLive app. They updated it 2 weeks ago, and you add your email or log in with Facebook. Yep. So, and just do that the once. Yep. Both apps have been updated, and I tried them as Kelly's tried them, and they simply work a lot easier than it used to be on iPhone or Android. But just to join. Yeah, I mean, the restriction on mobile is one placed by Facebook. You can't start from your mobile or from your Kindle because Facebook says you can't. So you can't start from Android, you can't start from iPhone. You can't host a show from there. And it would be very difficult to actually do it, because to actually squidge everything, I mean, we've just about got enough real estate on the browser on a desktop. So that's the first thing. And the other thing is that we have to go in Chrome, because the protocols that the Chrome browser uses were actually developed by Google. And then Google said, well, everybody can use them, but it is ostensibly a Google product, and Chrome is a Google product, and the two fit together seamlessly. And that's why it works better on Chrome than any other browser, because both are Google. Right, okay, just catching up with a comment that Kelly's made. He's seen, so I'm going to go full screen. Kelly's seen the gardens on screen and online, and they are a delight to actually go around. Okay, and back to the two of us. I can't hear a word you're saying, so you can say anything you like, Bridgetti. Well, I put my earpiece back in, which disappeared into my lap. I was sat there. I was doing Blubbing for Britain with John, and there are two of them. One you only use one at a time, and I had the left one in, and I was doing Blubbing for Britain. It fell out, and it fell onto my shirt. Now this is black. My shirt was black. I had no idea where it was.
Oh,
John's shouting out. It's there, but of course I couldn't hear a word he was saying. I've had fun with this week. Hopefully by next week I'll have mastered it.
Yeah. Oh,
Gotta hope.
my goodness. Fun and games. By the way, speaking of broadcasting, and I'm segueing into another topic now. Have you ever tried streaming with and now I've forgotten the name. Oh my goodness. Switcher Studio.
It's okay.
Switcher Studio.
No, I haven't. No.
Well, I was intrigued, in anticipation of LinkedIn Live. So there's only 3 streaming software that has been given access to the LinkedIn Live API, and that's Wirecast and Switcher Studio, and I forgot the other one now. But there's 3 of them currently that have got access to the LinkedIn API, and I know that BeLive has applied to use it, and a couple of other streaming services have also applied to use the LinkedIn Live API. And so I decided, to go and try out Switcher Studio, which is one of the softwares that's approved. But Switcher Studio is from your mobile, so you can have up to about, it's amazing. I think you can have up to about 8 or 9 devices that you can connect as camera sources using Switcher Studio. But it essentially is, streaming from your mobile phone. But I was blown away at how well it works, because you can, from your mobile phone, you can upload lower thirds, you can upload your logo, you can upload your frame, and you can do all of this on your mobile phone. And it's so easy to switch between, I gave it a try. You can switch between your frames, you can switch between your lower thirds, your logo. And I was amazed at how intuitive it is and how easy it was to use that. So of course I am, I'm excited about the prospect of using LinkedIn Live. They seem to be, the rollout is incredibly slow. So currently I think only about 10 people worldwide seem to have access to the LinkedIn Live. I've not yet seen anyone from Africa. I know that Australia's broadcasting, America was the first. I know that there's someone from the UK, and I think I've seen someone broadcast from the Philippines. So yeah, rollout is still very slow, and I'm really hoping to be one of the first people from Africa to have the privilege to broadcast on LinkedIn Live. So anyway, there's to hoping.
I'd be happy with being the second person in the UK.
Yes, there is someone in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be second. And Kelly's just asking about, just saying that earbuds, the earbuds I'm using don't work for him. But John wasn't wearing earbuds. John doesn't need to wear anything because of the setup that he's got in terms of his speakers and his computer. And you correct, that is the correct spelling. It's John without the H. Okay. Yeah, as Switch to Studio, as you found out the other day, Bridgetti, I'm not a mobile person. I'm not, in any stretch of the imagination, a mobile person. I can go out and about, and I can turn the camera the other way, and I can do videos for I Live Here. And I'm looking forward to the weather improving a little bit. Now I'll go and do some videos for I Live Here around the local area. But as for being on camera on a show, I prefer to actually be on desktop. It just seems more natural. I mean, we've been doing this for 3 years on desktop, and it's the best way. Okay, catch
To
me
be
at the
honest,
comments.
it's my first choice too, Stephen. I'm not, for me, getting the angles and stuff right on mobile just seems too tricky. It's never going to be my first choice at all. I really am a desktop person myself too, first and foremost. If you had to, I mean, I've gone live on the spot on random occasions, and I can probably even count them on one hand because not my first choice. Really, it isn't. I feel like a fish out of water. It's not my thing.
I totally agree with that. And a question from Gospel: is Switcher Studio free to use?
They seem to have a trial version, and then I think it's if you buy a full year, it's $29. It works out to $29 a month if you pay for the full year, but they also have a month-to-month option, which is $39 per month. So it's significantly more per month if you're going on a month-to-month basis. So I'm really hoping that LinkedIn will open up the API to a lot more service providers.
Yeah, it would be brilliant if they opened it to be live, because then we could do the same thing and just go live on LinkedIn and be totally comfortable with it, all the controls and everything. But we've got some whizzy bits coming, but that's all we can say. Yes, right. Okay, now, just to set the background for this, in 2017, Facebook said that if you use clickbait in your posts on Facebook, either be text or a picture, then you'll be demoted, you'll be pushed down the timeline. And it works very simply that all they do is to actually change the effective date on your broadcast, and it just zooms down the timeline to that date. So I've had an instance where I broadcast on the Thursday, but I was talking about it was on the wrong topic, and I got pushed down to Tuesday. So I never got seen in anybody's timeline. Right, that was in text. That was a text or an image, but things have changed again, haven't they, Bridgetti?
Yes, they have. And you know what, Stephen? I've seen a lot of people jump up and down about this one and saying, Facebook's making it more difficult for them. Actually, Facebook's not making anything more difficult. All it does is they are excluding people who are trying to trick the system. Mm-hmm. Now, there are people, one thing we need to keep reminding ourselves is that Facebook does not belong to me, and it doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to any one of us. It belongs to Facebook. It's their platform. And so they can do whatever they want. And obviously, they need to look at the best interests of not just one sector of their community, but they need to look at what's good for an entire spectrum of people who are their users. And so much as we don't like clickbait in newspaper articles, I mean, I have a intense dislike for clickbait headings, and I can almost see them a mile away. And I really, really dislike it intensely. So none of us like to click on a clickbait video or a clickbait article. And so why would we want to employ those same tactics in our live streams? Why would we want to trick the system? And it's by doing stuff like saying, if I say yellow, then type, I don't want to use the actual words now because it'll demote this stream. So you don't want to do stuff like saying, well, if I hold up this yellow card, then type 1 in the comments. Facebook sees that as engagement baiting. So if people are naturally responding to what you're saying in conversation, and they're going to type a 1 or a 2 or whatever it is, because you made it conversational, that's okay. Yes, absolutely, gospel. For those of us who follow the rules, there's nothing to be afraid of. There'll be absolutely no change for us. We just follow the rules and things will work. But if you were intentionally out there trying to bait people to make them go out and share your broadcast, you use phrases to intentionally get them to say something. You use phrases to get them to intentionally tag their friends. You use items to intentionally get people to engage in your comments by means of trickery or whatever you want to call it. That is what Facebook is ruling out. So really, for me and for you, Stephen, and everyone else out there, for those of us who follow the rules, there's nothing to be worried about. Nothing's going to change for us. Keep, be engaging, be conversational, just talk to people. Don't try and trick them into getting more views for your video. Let it happen organically, and then you'll get an automatic promotion by Facebook.
It is all about being natural and in conversation. I totally agree with that. But I watched the videos by Mari and by Molly, and there is, whenever anything changes, there's always a sort of scare story that does the rounds. But it is difficult because in the old days, we used to say, please, SHARE, this show. Now, we can't use that as much as we would. We've stopped doing that anyway, because if you're enjoying the show, you will SHARE it.
Anyway.
So anyway. So that's not a problem. The asking people to comment with something could be a problem, and it could be a problem for bots. Now I'm going to speak to RJ about it, because she was saying we might have to alter our Udemy course and our advice on doing it, because we've been saying, if you want information, type info in the comments, and that's when the bot sees the word info and it comes on and it works on it. Now some people are actually stopping using that altogether. I'm going to carry on, because as Bridgetti said, we shouldn't have to change just our ways, because Facebook is doing things to help everybody. So I'm going to carry on. If I come a cropper, then I come a cropper, and you'll know, because you won't see me again. No, it's a question, like all things, it's moderation. And if you do conversational shows, then I don't think you'd have a problem if you would do it. But there are people who use live video for commerce, and people who've got Etsy accounts or eBay accounts will come live and they will be selling. What Facebook's approach is going to be to that is I don't know what the approach is going to be. So we live in interesting times always, because Facebook are always moving the goalposts. But if you don't intentionally use clickbait, then or engagement bait, you should be okay. But we'll find out. And we say hello to my good friend, our good friend. This is just a minute.
Fons. Hello, Fons.
Yes. Hello, Fons. Great to see you. And I have already mentioned United World Radio. So I've done my bit. It's earlier on in the show, and there is just to show, because I'm going to cover the screen up now. There is a bot running on this show today, and it's got details of the green screen software that both Bridgetti and I are using. And if you want to join us in the last quarter of an hour of the show, you also have a link which you can click to actually join us on camera, if you're camera ready. But as we're winding down for the weekend, and we all got to know each other. This is, if somebody asked me what live video was all about, it's all about networking. It's about getting to know people and people coming into your community and you joining other people's communities. And we all have our own circle. Then we've got circles that we're part of, and we keep getting invited into them, which is a brilliant thing. So Fonz is saying hello to Kelly. Kelly's saying hello to Fonz, and Fonz is saying he's had a busy couple of days. And right, over to Gospel. And Gospel is saying, I know I was saying type 1 or reply, and also MM. Can you read that, Bridgetti? I'm struggling.
Oh, she's saying, I know we're saying type 1 or reply, and also hashtag MMOWW for my shows. I didn't know it was clickbait and now stopped. But the thing is, if one is not intentionally trying to bait people, it's very different to doing something naturally in conversation. And I think that's the big difference. If you're using it as a scheme or a marketing strategy, if your marketing, that's the word I was looking for, if your marketing strategy is to try and bait people, then you need to change the strategy. It's as simple as it is.
Yeah. Be natural, be yourself, do what you normally do, and you don't need the thesaurus, just be natural. And we shouldn't panic. We shouldn't panic about Facebook changes because we're not overtly marketing in any of the shows that we do. We're just passing on information and answering questions that have come about during the week. And we're not marketers. We're not.
No.
Not that marketers are a bad thing. There's a place for marketers. Otherwise, we'd never find out about new products and new ways to do things. And so everybody's got to market. So that's my 2 cents.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, without marketing, we wouldn't know. I mean, even in software, there's always new things that are coming about, and you want to stay on top of the curve. So if no one was marketing, then you wouldn't know about all these new strategies or new options that are available, or new ways to use the software, new things to incorporate. Like, for example, we used an intro in our video today, and something that I've started doing on a more regular basis. I enjoy the ability to do that. So maybe just for a second, if you are using BeLive and you want to incorporate an intro and outro video, it is quite possible. Some people have asked about that in the BeLivers group as well. And it's not very difficult to do. You simply take your video and you drag the URL into the Chrome. Bye, Kelly. Thanks for watching. You simply drag the URL into the Chrome, into a Chrome tab, and you hit play. And that's all you really need. And your sound will be playing through your system. So if you're trying to play it any other way, it's going to pick up the sound from your microphone, and your sound quality is not going to be that great. So the way to get great sound quality is to drag it into your Chrome tab and hit the play button, and that's it. So yes, it absolutely is possible to play an intro and an outro, or any video for that matter, in your live stream. Even if you wanted to replay another video, and again, in terms of doing that on Facebook, you can do that. And even if you're running that for your entire show, you just want to have a disclosure by saying that this was pre-recorded and I'm now playing it in my show. And that's all you really need to do. So yeah, very easy to incorporate videos with the BeLive platform.
And that is a good time because people who are watching now may not have been here at the beginning. Can we replay the intro again?
Yes, we can.
Right.
Let's just do that.
let me know when you're ready. And come back to Fonz, and Fonz is saying, I put a video up yesterday of Snowy Farr, who's in Cambridge, or was in Cambridge, and today it's been viewed by 40,000 people.
Oh,
So
wow.
clickbait is, well, he's around Cambridge, he's a legend. So clickbait is not needed. If it's the right post, it will get honest views and not people upset as they have been
Wow,
pulled
that's
in.
amazing.
Brilliant. And from Gospel, she's saying, wow, that's awesome. And also from Gospel, MMOWW is Monday morning, one word for the week. And Gospel uses it with her bot to send people the word of the week. Okay. Are we ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay. Over to you, Bridgetti.
And that's how easy it was to play an intro video. I'm having fun with them.
What are you actually using to create them? Is it Ecamm itself, or?
No, actually, it was something that I downloaded, an app on my phone. I forgot the name. Let me quickly have a look at it now, and I'll tell you what it's called. It's actually called Intro Designer. So, I mean, it's very self-descriptive.
It does what it says on the tin.
It does exactly
Brilliant.
what it says. How could I forget?
Right. Okay, so it's an Intro Designer. I'm just going to pop that in, and that is what Bridgetti did or used to actually design the intro to the show. And it had Gospel saying it had no sound.
Did it have no sound? Let's have a look.
Let's just try it again. And this is risking it. I'm going to open my copy with Chrome, and hopefully that will work.
Oh, you know what? I think there's something I need to change.
Okay, and my machine, I think. Okay, let's have a go. I'm going to share my desktop, and I'm going to go to the video, and it says I'm sharing, so I'm going to bring that up on screen. Yeah, this is step by step. I'm going to turn the audio on. I'm going to put it full screen, and hopefully this time it will have sound. That's probably not the same version, because I know you did send me 2 versions.
Well, I could hear the sound on that. Gospel, could you hear the sound on that? Let's just wait for Gospel to answer.
Wait for Gospel to answer, and what? Yeah.
If I could hear the sound, then it should have worked.
That's right. And that was just playing a video through the Chrome browser, which video was sent to me by Bridgetti just before the show, and I just right-clicked on it and said open in Chrome, and then I shared the Chrome tab. So it's very simple and easy to actually do, as Bridgetti said earlier. All right, and Gospel's saying she did an intro and outro with something else.
So what did you use, Gospel? Let us know in the comments so that other people can know what options there are to create an intro and outro. It's always good to... so she says, yes, the sound was there. Fantastic.
Brilliant. The reason I didn't do it that way earlier was I was mindful of my computer and the processor, and it wasn't happy, but this time it just worked. Back to Fonz and his comment is Gospel. Thanks, Gospel. I'll try and keep honest on my history page and give honest posts. I believe people would want to see, not post to get clicks. I think that's a great attitude to have. And I mean, you can tell basically. I mean, Facebook keeps changing the timeline, but I don't see too much clickbait in my timeline these days. Not that I want to sort of stand up and complain about it. I mean, I do see posts. I see adverts rather regularly, and then I press the button and say I'm seeing this too much, and it disappears for a day or two. So we do have control. Right. Okay. Right. So we had sound on that.
We've covered our agenda, Ruff.
Yeah, we've done. If you want to know what was in the show, RTMP versus RTM.
It's a tongue twister, isn't it?
RMTP versus RMTPS. How long should a live stream be? Chrome and streaming on BeLive. Video intros and outros. Facebook and clickbait. We've spoken about United World Radio, and it plays podcasts from your live shows, and you just need to send the MP3 or the YouTube link to myself or Fonz, and then you'll be one of our presenters on United World Radio. And thank you to Gospel and everyone who's joining us. Then Bridgetti talked about Switcher Studio and Intro Designer. Okay, and Fonz is saying, what other ways is there to add intros apart from Chrome? When you were doing it, Bridgetti, you were actually doing it from Ecamm, weren't you? On your...
Yeah. I can actually do it from within, because I'm using Ecamm as my virtual camera, and I can switch between playing a movie or streaming myself. So yeah, that's what I can do with my virtual camera. But from BeLive, it would have to be through the Chrome browser.
Yeah. Got it. I mean, there are so many different ways to achieve the same thing, but if you've got a video, then you can play it in the Chrome browser, share the tab, as Bridgetti said earlier, and remember to turn the sound on, and it just simply works, and it works well. Right. Okay. Well, Bridgetti, we've been going nearly an hour, and I've got the sun to look forward to this weekend, but you're heading towards winter in Cape Town.
Yes, we are. And, you know, our days are still pretty much mostly beautiful. But you can, you know, as you're heading towards a different season, you can feel the change in the temperature, especially at night. It starts to drop significantly in the evening, and those are usually your telltale signs of when you're in for a change of weather. So I'm starting to feel the winter chill at night.
Yeah, we're fortunate. Well, we're upside down, and we are just starting to get warmer now. And we just had a glorious weekend when we've had the highest temperatures in the UK in April ever. I think somewhere it was about 23 degrees, which for the UK in April is fantastic. So everybody was out and about over the weekend. And as you see, we went to, just to give it another shout out, we went to Courts Garden where this photograph was taken, which is in Wiltshire. And we were also able to go out and have a picnic, first picnic of the year. We went a walk up the local hill. So always love the good weather. And it's weekend, so we can take a break from streaming. Are you streaming this weekend?
I more than likely will, because I'm wanting to do some tests. But you know, Stephen, talking about weather and change of weather, I think I do want to give a quick mention to the tropical storm in Mozambique. Now they had Ida just a few weeks ago, and now Kenneth has made landfall. And someone put that into perspective the other day, and they said, or yesterday, someone put it in perspective in a tweet, and it said, now imagine the cyclone that Houston had. I think we all remember the one that Houston had. Now think about having a Category 3 storm like what they had in Houston, and then 2 weeks later you have a Category 4 in the same area. I mean, can you imagine that?
No.
And that's what's happening in Mozambique at the moment. And we want to remember that these are those areas are inhabited by very, very poor people, with access to very, very little. And in some cases, they may not even have the ability or the technology to get any warning of that cyclone coming. So they've just had Cyclone Ida, and now Kenneth has made landfall, and it is horrific. I mean, it's like massive, massive areas have just been wiped off the map and been incorporated into the sea. And you have situations where people were caught in trees and on rooftops for ages, waiting to be rescued via air because there was no other way to get to them. I mean, it's just unimaginable.
Totally. We're just very fortunate by accident to be born where we are and to not have to endure the storms that, well, if you were in Japan or in the Philippines or in the USA,
Australia as well.
Australia too. Yeah, I was once. We were in Cairns, and a hotel, and the hotel virtually closed down around us. We were in our route because the storm came in, and you just can't do anything, and power out all over the hotel complex. So I've experienced that, and I've done it the once. We got through it. But I can empathise with people who are in a situation worse than that, because weather is in charge, and there's nothing we can do about it. We can't change the weather yet, despite all the science fiction films. Bridgetti, we've reached the hour. The show is yours.
Yes, we have.
Let's go.
I want to just say a huge big thank you to everyone who's joined us live today, to everyone who's commented. Thank you to Fons, thank you to Gospel, thank you to Kelly, thank you to who else did I miss? I had Corinda.
Corinda, yes.
So thanks everyone for joining us live. Thanks for participating in the show. It's always so much fun having you guys here. And thank you also to anyone who's watching the show on the replay, because we know most of our viewers are on the replay. So thank you to each one of you. Have an awesome, fantastic, magical weekend. Enjoy whatever you are doing, wherever you may be in your corner of the world. So from me, Bridgetti and Band in Cape Town, it's goodbye for now, and see you back next week again. Same time, same place.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now from Wiltshire in England, and message from Gospel. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And that's